Joey Haddad, about to embark on your sixth season in Cardiff. The first five have been pretty good. How happy are you to have re-signed at this club?
Yeah, I'm really happy. I mean, this team, the city, it means everything to me. It's my home away from home, I guess you could say. Like you just said, been here 5 years, going on six. And me and my wife, Kirsten, have kind of made it our home and really settled in. And you know, love coming back every year with my teammates. The staff, and it's a great situation, a great spot to be.
The fact that it is going to be your sixth year, Joe, does Lauder look at you for a slightly different role now in terms of more leadership as well? Obviously, you've got the playing side, but the fact you know the ethos of this club, where it's come from, how it's developed, is that something you need to pass on to new recruits?
Yeah, definitely. I think those are good points, and I think that our success over the last 5 years has come from that exactly. Having the core group together year after year makes it a lot easier for the new guys to come in and know how things are run, what's expected from the coach, the management. As a veteran of the Devils, it definitely helps the coach, myself and everybody else who knows what he likes, what he wants, everything from systems down to, what time we're here in the morning kind of thing. It just helps the whole thing run a little more smoothly, and then eliminates distractions, not just for new guys, but for returning guys. If you have everybody pulling on the rope the same way, it kind of, tends to go in the right direction. So yeah, I think so. Coming into the sixth year, it feels good knowing that I'm not the only kind of 6-year guy. We got a lot of guys who have been around here a while. It's comforting. It's got that family feel, and like I said before, it just makes our new recruits, our new teammates coming in, makes them feel that much more at home, and just leaves the mission to be played on the ice. And yeah.
So let me ask you this: in sixth year, you've won a lot of trophies, a couple of Challenge Cups, a couple of leagues, a couple of playoffs. I've been reading that great Ken Dryden book recently, The Game, and he talks about the motivation of the Canadians and keeping that up. I've asked a couple of the guys this: how do you keep that motivation level the same every year to come back and want to win it all?
I think as a individual, if it doesn't come easy for you, then you have a little bit of onus on yourself to kind of get yourself ready, motivated. No different than getting up and going to the gym and working hard. It's going to be some days it's really easy, where you're aware, you're in tune, and things are just coming, naturally. And then you're going to have other dry spells where maybe a little injured or tired, or things aren't going well on the ice. And it's in those moments you have to kind of remember what you're trying to do, accomplish during the year. Look to your teammates for inspiration and motivation, and again, reiterating that family atmosphere. When you're doing something for your teammates, say the guy next to you, I'd say that family member, it definitely makes it a little bit easier. You can find another level, an extra 5-10%, and when everybody else is doing that for you as well, the same thing. So year after year, this will be my 6th year with the Devils, 11th playing professional hockey. Yeah, I mean, you have your ups and downs for sure, but I think the main thing is to find your level and try not to stray too far up or down from that.
Talking about downs, I guess the second half of last season a little bit frustrating with you, for you, with the injury. I won't ask the details. Lauder would kill me. But from your point of view, personal perspective, fit again, feeling healthy, ready to go?
Yeah, fit again, feeling healthy. Been working out, the last 3 weeks to a month. Yeah, the second half of last season was tough, but like we just talked about, that sport, you have ups and downs. You enjoy the highs, and yeah, you got to remember them so you can get through the lows. And we ended off the season the right way last year, and that really set the tone going into the off season. Kept us where we needed to be, say mentally, feeling good, being somewhat satisfied, but then also having a vision for next year, and the spots where we can get better and improve. And It's crazy to think the season came down to a tiebreaker. One shot, one goal, somewhere in the 50-some games we played last season. So next year, yeah, it's just I like how you use perspective, because I got a lot of that last year. Not only not playing, but then the tiebreaker and seeing how close it can come down to be. So yeah, it's just like all the other years. Every year that's over, the next year you kind of realize how important getting the shot on the net is, or scoring that goal or whatever. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of perspective, and we saw what happened last year, and we'll be ready to kind of tackle it this season.
Just my own interest, and the answer to this might be a short no, but it was noticeable at playoff weekend. Some players don't like watching. You were sort of front and center on the bench, helping out Andrew Lord and Luke Piggott. Did you enjoy that side of the game? Andrew Lord graduated to coaching because he had an injury. Was it something you enjoyed?
I think I enjoyed just being around the guys the most. One of the tough things about being injured and having to sit out is you're not always with the guys, and when you're used to being with the guys, it's kind of a big deal. I'm with them the day to day, training and in the room and stuff, but when it comes down to competition, again, like I said before, with the family kind of atmosphere and playing for your buddies and having them play for you, that was probably the toughest part. So playoff weekend, coming down on the bench, at that point, I had an idea that I wasn't going to be playing the last 2 games of the season. So it was kind of, the stage was set. I could get in there on the bench and, help Pigsy and Laurel with whatever they needed, help Murdy with whatever he needed as far as equipment, and then just be there for the guys. I fixed a couple visors and grabbed a couple dry pairs of gloves, but it was good because I was involved and I felt a part of the team. So.
Obviously now the CHL draws has been made and we're focusing towards that. What I'm always interested in, off-season for fans, we maybe forget about hockey, watch a little bit of Stanley Cup, that sort of thing. But what is the off-season for you? I guess, first of all, you take a few weeks off the ice, but how does preparation kick in? I guess you've got your own kind of routines and what you want to do. But what does the summer look like for you?
Right away, definitely some downtime where for me this year, I just try to literally not use my body at all for a couple weeks, just to let everything settle down, all the bumps and bruises and inflammation in the body, kind of get rid of it. And then start slow with the training, just baby steps, and keep building throughout the summer. Some guys are already skating a little bit. I'll probably start skating in a few weeks. And again, on ice, off ice, just keep building towards the season. And mentally, I mean, it's a nice break. You got to try to find, some headspace away from the game. So for me, most of the time it's, the AM I'll be training, and then I'll have my afternoons, to relax and kind of enjoy the off season, enjoy the summer, the weather and stuff like that. And then you have little things that come up, whether it's signings or the CHL draw, and kind of seeing, how other teams are shaping up. And that's the kind of mental motivation, the thoughts that are on your mind going through that off season.
Do you follow that, Joey? Because I know some guys don't. CHL draw, that's exciting, but what other teams are doing around the league, guys you might know, etc. Do you follow that?
If it's a close friend and they go somewhere and I hear about it, I watch the CHL draw. I guess I am guilty of neglecting social media quite a bit. But if something pops up, I mean, you see it, and you're talking with the guys, your teammates, and you hear about it. So yeah, I try to stay off the social media and just kind of, enjoy the off season, enjoy the downtime. But I mean, things come up and, they're on your mind, and you kind of use what you can for motivation and get rid of anything that's unuseful. So.
This is a real dumb hockey fan question. I know I've said this to you a couple of times. We all know about a lot of your strengths. You're the best player in the league down low, cycling the puck. I've always said to you, and bear in mind, I've never played the game at any sort of level whatsoever. I think you've got a great release. You've got a great shot, and maybe for me in the stands, you don't always use it as much. Is that something you've ever found in your game? Because when you release the puck, it's got some velocity on it.
Yeah, I've always had a great shot. It's been one of my strengths, throughout my years of playing. But yeah, you do make a good point, and that's one of those things, coming back to your first question, kind of motivation and mentality going into practice, going into games. And I mean, you go through phases. Maybe sometimes I'm shooting too much. Maybe sometimes I need to put a few more pucks on net, or at least have that mindset that when I get it, I'm going to try to shoot. Off season, you kind of think about those things. Maybe on ice training, I'll practice some things, and overall, you're always trying to get better, trying to find ways that you can, get that 1, 2, 3% gain. But yeah, that's a good point. I'll keep that in mind.
Oh, don't listen to me. No, listen to the coach. On that note, we always hear about the coach, attention to detail, and he can be a hard taskmaster. Todd, again, a perfectionist, the same. But, I know we've touched on this a little bit, but guys just keep wanting to come back to Cardiff, the hockey club, and Cardiff, the city. As we say, this is going to be your 6th year. Why keep coming back?
Well, the city is a great city. I mean, it has everything you need. It's got the feel of a big city, but then again, it's not too big. It's easy to get around. People are friendly. Being here 6 years, I've gotten to know a lot of people, around the rink, away from the rink. And then the way the organization is ran, I think, is the biggest, from our ownership to our managing director, our front office staff, and then our coach. Me and Andrew have a pretty long, long relationship, where we met, almost 11 years ago now, when I was a rookie, and he was my captain and pro, and yeah, he got the job here in Cardiff. He called me up, and I was in the middle of transitioning, so the rest is history there. But it's great coming to work with him every day, and the days that are tough, and it might be hard getting going. He's there for the motivation and the push, and he demands a lot of his players. But I think as a player, you wouldn't want it any other way, because he brings the best out of you, and the best out of the team. And at the end of the year, that's we get to celebrate and enjoy what we do. So all those things put into one. I mean, I guess that's why I'm a Cardiff Devil for 6 years.
We're all happy about that. Just finally, Joe, I guess I'm going to ask you to play messenger here. What's ChrisCallaghan doing these days? Because I understand I've got an email from Andy, his dad, that I haven't replied to yet. I know I've got to. I think he's carving out a pretty successful junior coaching career. How's Chris?
Yeah, Chris is good. Really good buddy of mine. We stay in touch. He's busy. I'm busy. He's got the head coaching job for the major midget team back home, which is it would be like the elite level for 14 to 16-year-olds who are looking to move on to major junior, and then ultimately the NHL. So he always wanted to be in that development kind of stage. So I think he hit the nail on the head there, and he got in at the right time. I think he got a couple years as an assistant coach, and then he just took over the reins as head coach. And then he's also doing some stuff with the school board, so teaching hockey for kids who aren't signed up for any clubs or leagues or anything like that. So yeah, he's enjoying it. He's at home. His sisters, he has a big family, 5 siblings, and I think he's got three nieces, 1 nephew, something like that.
And
Don't quote me on that.
Andy's on the golf course, I know, and yeah.
Yeah, Andy's in retirement and trying to become a better golfer. And I think Marina's mom, she travels a lot, watches a lot of films, so we have that in common. And yeah, it's always good to catch up with them. When I go home this summer, I'll look forward to seeing them and hanging out and having a beer with them. But I'll tell him everybody from Cardiff says hi.
Absolutely. Give him our best. But in terms of us giving you our best, Joey, it's great to have you back in Cardiff for a 6th year. Welcome back to Cardiff.
Thanks, John. It's great to be back.